All right. Hello, everybody. We're going to read Report to the Principal's Office, Chapter 3. In the last chapter, we met a new character, Eddie. Poor Eddie. I feel so bad for him. He was ready to go to the 6th grade. He was ready to be gung-ho and to have a wonderful year. But when we left off, he was getting thrown around the bus like a football. Poor Eddie. Let's see what's going on now. Charles Brimlow was as ready as he would ever be. 15 minutes before the first bus arrived, he was out front wearing a smile as wide as his bow tie. And why not? He was a brand new principal in a brand new school. Talk about a fresh start, and he was determined to make the most of it. The town, the architects, the taxpayers, they had given him all any principal could ask for in the way of a faculty. The most modern this, the most up-to-date that, high-tech electronics from boiler room to kitchen. But without people, it was just a brick and glass skeleton. Students, teachers, staff, they would bring it to life, give it heart and soul. And it was he, Charles Brimlow, more than any other person who would determine the quality, the character of that heart and soul. He could only be successful, he had decided, if he and the students worked together as a team. Or even better, as a family. That was the key word, family. He intended to keep that word constantly in mind, and he guaranteed these 340 kids through their 3 years at Plumstead. All summer long, Mr. Brimlow had studied their records and profiles and pictures, so that now, beaming as the buses began to arrive, he felt as if he already knew them. It was a stitch, watching the surprise on the kids' faces as he held out his hand and greeted many of them by name. "Good morning, Jennifer. Welcome to Plumstead." "Hiya, Robert. You look like you've gained weight over the summer." That's not a nice thing to say. "Morning, Claudia. Still want to be a pilot?" Now here was a dark-haired girl he couldn't place. Of course, that might be because her face was contorted into one of the most miserable frowns he had ever seen. He felt an instant need to make this child happy. "Hello there," he said cheerfully. "I'm Mr. Brimlow. What's your name?" "Butthead," replied the girl, and breezed on past. By the time Mr. Brimlow recovered, the girl was long gone and another stood in front of him. This one had long curly hair, a thin, interesting face, and large eyes that seemed on the verge of astonishment. Slung over her shoulder was a green book bag. Her name was about to come to him. But she was first to speak. "You're Mr. Brimlow, aren't you?" "I am," he said, still somewhat dazed by the first girl. "The principal?" "So they tell me." She smiled broadly and thrust out her hand. "Nice to meet you. I'm Salem Brown Miller." He shook her hand. Salem Jane Brown Miller, to be exact. Her wide eyes widened. "You know me?" "I know your school profile." She sagged a trifle. "Oh." He perked up again. "So you know I'm a writer?" "Indeed I do. You won the story contest at Hillmont last year." She beamed. "I won a gold pin. The story was called The Squirrels of Pauline. It's about this 5th grade girl and 2 baby squirrels she meets when lightning strikes a tree on the playground, and they fall from their nest. Would you like to read it?" "I certainly would," replied the principal. In a flash, the girl whipped out some stapled sheets from her book bag and thrust them into his hand. I carry copies of my stories everywhere I go. You never know when somebody might ask for one. Or suppose my house burns down with my manuscripts in it." Mr. Brimlow was considering the horror of it, when a short, portly man with hair in his ears tapped him on the shoulder. "You the bus monitor?" "No, I'm the principal. Can I help you?" "Yeah," said the portly man. "I got a kid here, won't get off my bus." I wonder who that kid is. We'll have to see in the 4th chapter.